Good morning, and welcome to sunny Winnipeg. Yes. Now, I did repaint or put the second coat on the barrels last night, so they're dry and ready to do whatever. Earlier this morning, I came and I got the flashing off of. I have to look up and find out what on earth are these things. They go on the sides of the turrets. There must be maybe some sort of vents or something. I know that these are the optical units, so these might be some sort of additional. Well, instead of talking about it and speculating, I guess I could always look it up and find out. And I got the flashing off of the blast bags, and when I was doing it, I was noticing that the blast bags do not have any what you would call definition. In other words, like the folds in the canvas or whatever they were made of, it's just not there. I think Trumpeter could have done a better job maybe making those look a little bit more realistic, unless for some reason they were kind of stretched. Maybe they were rubber and not... somebody said, in fact a couple of people said the blast bags were black. Now, we're going to check on that. I'm going to see what color did Stefan Jimbrinsky draw his blast bags in, because he would have done his best to have got it correct. So we'll check that out later. Now, another viewer mentioned something about there has to be a smaller, like I think it's a 20 millimeter or 40 millimeter gun unit goes on the top of one of these, and he was sort of giving me a bit of a heads up and to look ahead here. Okay, it doesn't show it in step 51. 52. Okay, in step 52, right at the very beginning, it says make hole. Okay, so we have to make holes. Okay, I can sort of see markings there. Where we're going to be mounting something. Actually, there's quite a bit to do with the 52, 53, 54, 55. Okay, 56 is the very last step that involves the ship. 57 is actually the last step. It involves putting together the aircraft. But we got a long ways to go yet on these turrets. I was thinking earlier that, oh my goodness, we're just about done. Now, I don't think there's too much use trying to fit the shell over top of the base until we get the shell painted, because I don't want to risk scratching the sides of the barrels any more than necessary. I'm thinking that if I'm really careful, I won't scratch them at all. And then we'll slip the blast bags on and glue them and paint. Now, wait a minute. Okay, if the blast bags are going to be black, they don't get glued on now, but these other pieces do get glued on, because I believe that they should be. I think they should be the same color as the turret, and the same with the optical units. But the blast bags are going to be different. Obviously, the gun mounting things that we're going to put on there, that's going to be probably a different color. I guess maybe what I should do is take out a minute here and just sort of peruse ahead a little bit and make sure I don't paint myself into a corner, if you know what I mean. Let's just do that here. In the meantime, it's a nice, bright, sunny day out there. You're going to see later on, I'm probably going to dub in that I went out last night on the e-bike. And what do we got here? It's 9.3 by the side of the house. I don't think it's actually that warm. I think maybe 6, 7 might be more accurate, but that's okay. We'll 9.3 makes you feel better, right? And I think sometimes the psychological aspect of the temperature is half the battle. Yeah, if it says it's warm, you feel warm. Okay, let's get going here, and maybe what we should do is go check Stefan's book, and see what color the blast bags are, just for fun. Then we'll know. And also, I'd like to. What are these things? I know where they go on the turret. You can actually see on the sides here. They got little uh, places that show where they have to mount. There's four on each turret. But what are they? They wouldn't be windows. At least I don't think they'd be windows. Okay. Okay, approximately 2 hours has passed here, and I am finally in Stefan's book. And we're at early 1943 here, and that's sort of the way we're depicting this particular model. At least that's when Trumpeter, designed it for the early part of its life. And you can see here the range finders that we're going to be putting on, one on each side. And these are these little boxes that I was saying that I didn't know what they were. But anyway, as long as we're looking at this drawing right here, and remember, this is a drawing, not a photograph. So he could have drawn anything. He's got the blast bags black, like everybody said. They almost look like some sort of rubber, don't they? Okay, let's move ahead here a little bit. Another shot with our black bags. And doesn't really show these any better what they are. I'll just keep going here. I suppose there's somewhere that there's it says what they are, and I'm just sort of going right past it. No, it doesn't show it. Doesn't show it. Okay, 1944. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, I guess. If I do find it later, I'll mention what it is. Okay, I think we're pretty well determined that the blast bags are black, and that we don't know what these are yet. Yeah. Oh yeah, here's some stuff on the top of the turret. Okay, I remember seeing a platform something like this in the on one of the sprues. So we've got more stuff to put on, obviously. Okay, let's get back to the model table. Okay, I did a little bit more checking here, and I found sort of what you might call a cutaway. We are looking at the turret directly from the front. You can see the muzzles here, and at least I'm assuming that's what it is. And these things here are called the trainer's telescope and the pointer's telescope. And if I look a little bit further ahead here, it appears that these things are attached to the barrel, or part of the barrel, and when the barrel elevates, they probably twist up and down a little bit. And of course, as the turret, I think somebody said it is called transverses when it goes from left to right. They automatically turn with it. At least that's what I'm thinking this is all about. So those covers that we saw earlier here, where are we? Oh, we passed a real good one here. Okay, here. These are just covers that cover the trainer's telescope and the pointer's telescope. Okay, I had to beat that to death, didn't I? When my neighbor was over yesterday having coffee with me, he says, "You gonna get out on your bike or your scooter later?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. It's kind of cold." And it was only about 10 degrees Celsius. And I thought, well, I could get out just for a little while anyway. At least I could say I went out. Well, the next thing I knew, I started to enjoy myself out there. I went out on the e-bike, as you can see. And I just kept going and going and going. Next thing I knew, I'd been out for an hour and 42 minutes. Now, it was getting pretty dark. It's getting dark earlier now. Plus, there was a lot of cloud cover. So, I know it doesn't look like it from the surveillance camera there, but it was actually quite dark. Anyway, an hour and 42 minutes later, uh, I was back, and I had a great time. And as I've said before, this weather's not going to hold. It won't be long, and there's going to be the white stuff on the ground, and I won't be going no place. Okay, even more time has passed here now. And 51, we're back to step 51. And the very first thing it wants us to do in 51 is to put this shell over top of the base. But if we do that now, then it's going to mean that I'm going to have to mask off the barrels before I paint everything, and I don't want to do that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put these covers. Obviously, there's a right way and a wrong way that they can go on. I'll move in a little bit better, and you'll be able to see the detail on them. Where the periscope or telescope looks out and ahead, there is a little bit of definition that has been drawn on these things. I think it's basically on the side that's pointing towards you right now. Yeah, let's just put the macro lens on here, and I think we're going to let gravity be our friend here. If I was to, have this something like this, then we can, drop this down into one of those little squares, and it's going to more or less stay there. Yeah, I'm going to just reposition and get better organized here. Okay, I was going to use the helping hands here to clamp onto the side of the shell here to hold it at exactly the right angle. And then I realized that these alligator clips are undoubtedly going to, mark the sides of the shell. So let's just put a little protecting thing on here. And we can still grab a hold of it. Something like this. Maybe a little bit more. That works. I'd put heat shrink stuff on there, except that if I do that, what's going to happen is then it's going to be hard to get off, whereas this should be fairly easy to pull off afterwards. Okay. Now, yeah, like that, and then I want this to be horizontal. If I have it like this, it's kind of leaning back, whereas if I can put it like this, yeah, and I can adjust everything. There we go. That'll be almost perfectly horizontal. There. Now they're not going to slide off as easy. Okay. Now we'll put on the macro lens. Now, if you remember, I was saying it looks like one way is more right than the other, and I think right now, as luck would have it, I've more or less got it the right way. We're gonna let the Tamiya extra thin here sort of meld that into place. I probably could have done a better job of just sort of pull it inside there. Maybe I'll try and get it moved centered here a little better. There we go. Starting to moosh down. Just going to push from the bottom as well here. Okay. This extra thin, as you know, is going to melt the plastic. There, now I've got lots. I know some of you are thinking that looks like it's probably too much. And maybe it is, because there are little rivets around the outside of that flange Let's push this down now. Alright, now when that dries, it's going to look not too bad. Maybe what I'll do on the other one, I'll put some in there to start with. There, that's lots. Okay, get this out of the way. Alright, now we'll get this thing turned around the right way. I believe that's it. Having trouble picking it up here. Trying to pick up a whole... There I got lots that time. Get it all the way around there. Just let it melt that plastic. Okay, now press down from the top. Now I do believe that when this dries, it's going to look fairly believable, like it was, welded on, or I guess in this case it would be sort of bolted on with some kind of rivets or something. Okay, we'll let that evaporate, and then we'll take a close look at it. Okay, I don't know if we're actually in any closer, but we are able to see now that the glue is probably, I'm guessing, 99% evaporated. It does look kind of shiny there, but I think it's going to always look shiny there. Yeah, it's probably still soft. But anyway, it looks like it's sort of welded on, doesn't it? I use the term melding. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and just attach the remaining 10 off camera and get them done. And then we'll move on to the, I guess it'll be the rangefinders. Okay, now for these rangefinders, it would be possible to have them on wrong two different ways. For one thing, it would be possible to put them on completely backwards, because the pegs are not keyed. It's not like one peg is a lot larger than the other. The other way to put them on wrong would be to put the wrong one on this side, and it's just not going to match up. So got to watch that I get the right one here, which is this one, and then you can see how it's shaped about the same way as this flange part here. And why is this not going in? Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the extra thin again here, and we'll just let it meld really, really well. Yeah, okay, I'm going to reposition just a bit here. Okay, I'm going to have to twist this around so I can see it just a little bit better. I want to make sure that it is flat. In other words, when the turret is sitting on the deck, it doesn't look like they're kind of flopping down like the ears on a spaniel or something. I think this is going to be all right. Okay, there are 5 more of these to go on. I'm just going to do them off camera and get them done. Now, a moment ago, I was thinking, okay, these shells are all ready to paint now. Don't have to put anything else on, because I want to, put the ladders that go up the front on afterwards. And then I realized, no, we've got gun tubs and stuff like that that have to be mounted on the top that also should be the 19 gray, at least the outside of the gun tubs. So yeah, let's try and figure that out. Okay, I think it is slowly starting to sink in here. Step 50 makes the bases. The base for each turret is exactly the same. The shell for each turret is exactly the same, at least to start out with. Then step 51 here, we are making the what you might call the first turret, which is going to go on the bow. And this whole thing is that very, very first turret. Then when we open the page here and we get to 52, we are now going to start on a different turret. And it's going to be made basically the same, but this one we're going to be making the holes, okay? Which we are going to be putting this stuff on it, okay? Then after we get this all made the way you see it right here, then we can move on to step 54, which makes the last turret, which is even different again. We make the holes, we put a different type of gun tub down, and a different type of gun. It's all kind of the same but different. So, yeah, and I don't want to have to spray at each step. I want to see if I can't do this in such a way that I can get all of these shells prepared for each step, and then paint them all at once. Put the ladders on all at once. Put the blast bags all on at once after they're painted black. And I'm trying to just decide now. The blast bags, should they maybe be a gloss black? Because if you notice in Stefan's drawing, it almost looked like they were rubber, not canvas. But anyway, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Well, yeah, it does sort of matter. Yeah, I do have some ordinary gloss Tamiya black. I can't remember the number, but I know I've got it over there somewhere on the other side of the table. Okay, now let's get back here. Okay, step 51. That's where we was, and we're probably going to be there for a little while. These life rafts, they're all the same for each turret. There's nothing different about them. So I think it would be quite safe to, at least I think it is. I think they're the same. Yeah, they're all the same. So we'll probably paint them the 66, and then I'll use Panaline accent color down in the bottom of them to bring out the I guess you'd call it the grading or the planking or whatever it would be. Be more of a grading. Okay, and the ladders, they're all the same. The ladders are the same. The baskets are the same for each one of the three turrets. So basically, what is going to be different is that the number 2 and number 3 turret are going to have two different types of gun tubs on the top. Okay, it's slowly settling in, and thanks to that viewer who put me onto this, because I might have just figured, okay, I'm going to make 3 like this, and I never thought to check ahead. I'm bad that way. Okay, let's what are we going to do here? What time we got? Okay, I know you can't see the clock, but it's 1:35. Do I want to call it quits here? I'll have to think about this. Okay, I've thought about it. I'm going to call her quits for this afternoon. Right now the weather's kind of nice outside. I don't know if it's going to last, but I'm going to hope it will. And yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody. All being well, we're going to see you tomorrow.